Hello, we are in Best Farm Company. My name is Nicole Neira.
I'm Roberto Morales.
I'm Vincent Knospe.
And I am Juan Pablo Morales.
Best Farm is a company that produces and exports flowers and roses. Principally, the 95% of this production is to Canada and United States. This company is located in Tocancipá, Cundinamarca, has 400 workers in areas like marketing, presence, transportation, and logistics. This company was founded in 40 years ago.
Okay, the mission of the company is to produce and export high quality roses in order to supply the demand of countries of USA and Canada. And the vision is to achieve a global recognition and an effective access in specialized flower markets.
As process for our project, we chose the after harvest. The after harvest is composed of four parts. The first is the entry of the meshes with all the flowers from the harvest. The second is the classification of the flowers. The third is the construction or the assembly of the bouquets. And the fourth is the hydration of the flowers. I'm going to talk about capacity of the whole after harvest. So we have four different types of capacity. The first is the rated capacity as provided by supplier or manual, but in this company we don't use a lot of machines, so we chose as rated capacity the maximum capacity that the company is able to produce in 1 year, which would be 65,850,000 roses. The effective capacity is of 20 million. The effective capacity is the capacity including scheduled shutdowns or just like just a reduce of the production because of lower demand. The real capacity is of 60 million. The difference between real and effective capacity is maybe when they're flowers and they're not beautiful enough to be exported, then the capacity lowers. Also, we analyzed one special process of the after harvest, the classification. So there we have many workers classifying the flowers, the roses. They should at least classify 40 roses per 40 smashes per hour. But because of scheduled shutdowns and because sometimes they just have breaks, it's a 38. And then the real capacity of these workers is of between 30 and 35 meshes per hour, which includes breaks, toilet breaks, or if there are not enough meshes to be classified.
About the bottleneck, in all the processes, sometimes there is a bottleneck. For example, when it's a sunny day, the production increases, maybe in double. So the light makes the flowers grow faster. This is why the climate is a fundamental factor in the process. However, it is not the bottleneck of the process. It is not the common bottleneck. The workforce is the fundamental bottleneck of this process. Sometimes people are not available in the process to process all the flowers that are produced because of the climate, maybe. So it's a job that must seek balance between the production and the people who is working. So the bottleneck is really the people who is working after the roses process.
So now we are going to talk about all the process in the after harvest and the waste in each step. So the first part that I'm going to talk is the materials used in this process. First, of course, the flowers and the roses, the water, the soap, these things that is the nerines to hold the flowers and the roses, and of course the PET, which is a kind of material plastic to use readily in the packaging, and the last, the paperboard. So the first process is this one. Is the entry of the nerine with the flowers, and in this process they need water to wash the flowers and the roses. So they need per day 15,000 liters of water, but they reuse 12,000 liters of water. That means that the waste is only 20%. Next, the Next step is the classification process. So the flowers and the roses are classified according with the size, the color, and the kind of flowers, of course. So in this process there are high waste because the petals, the leaf, and all the damaged flowers in the process, but they have a composting process, which is the 80% of the flowers go to this process, which is all the material, the organic material from agricultural waste is concentrated and treated to be faster reused like a fertilizer. On the other hand, we have the flowers that aren't really suitable and beautiful to export, so that flowers are just for the local market. And the last part is the assembly of the flowers and the roses. In this part, the company has an outlet that is other company who pick up every 2 weeks these materials like the PET and the paperboard and reuse and create new materials.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the strengths and the opportunities of waste and capacity. The strength of waste is that the company only has 20% of waste because the other 80% of leftover materials are reusing in another process of the company. Also, the leftover materials used in the packaging process are delivered to a new company in order to recycle them and to create a new product. And also, the fertilizers are made by parts of roses and flowers that the company could not export to another country. The strengths of capacity are that the company has a lot of processes that prevent or mitigate the risks related to the weather or something like that. And the second one is that the company use the fertilizers to increase the production and the quality of the products. As an opportunity for capacity is that we could improve the workstations in order to increase the quality of the roses and increase the number of roses that we could export.
Finally, for the sustainability, we find that the farm reuse the water, in which they hydrate and they wash the flower again. Through a biofilter, they reuse the water. Also, throughout the process, there are quality control points to know how the process is going and how optimal is the productivity. And so this means that the sustainability in the company can be measured more effectively.
We now are going to finish our video. We thank Best Farms so much for attending us and helping us with this project, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.